is the school district reluctant to give up certain things? Is that
I think I think it's one of those things that, you know, you get the ball rolling. Like when I'm trying to work on when I was in college and I was working on a paper, or I was working now when I work on a motion, you want it to be perfect, and if you keep thinking like that, you never start. So what I find is I finally break down and just say, I'm going to dictate a piece of garbage, and you just do this piece of garbage, and then when you get it back, it looks pretty good, and you tune it up. I think that sometimes with this, you need to get it rolling, just do something, and then start building the relationships and building the trust, and then new ideas will come to fruition. If you look at, you know, the state's offered grants for consolidation of services, and very few people have taken them up on it because it's, as much as people complain about taxes, they become very territorial, and they want their village, even though it makes no sense to have a village within a town. And you know, you go to the town of Southeast, which no one knows what's the town of Southeast, until Metro North renamed the train station from Brewster North to Southeast. Everyone thinks of it as Brewster, but there's a village of Brewster and the town of Southeast, and the village of Brewster is within the town of Southeast, but the courtroom that's in the center of Brewster is actually the town of Southeast courtroom, and the one that's out in the highway garage is actually the village. This is the kind of thing that I think, I don't want to single them out, but that, you know, you could save a lot of money, and we don't have that option here, but where we do have options, we should really strongly look at them.
Metro North says that the White Plains train station is number 2 in the state behind Grand Central in terms of traffic. You see anything happening down there? And if obviously it wouldn't happen in the next 2 months before the election, but maybe after the election.
They're all eager to put 500 cars parking at the North White Plains station. You know, how about a little attention downtown? I mean, I think I went out. I've been following the North White situation and going to meetings on that. And you know, the first time they presented it, I told them that's way too many cars, and their own traffic report said that's way too many cars. So there's fewer now. But I did have some good conversations with them, and I think there's an opportunity to try and, you know, work together to improve things. What happens at that train station, hopefully, would be a collaboration between multiple parties at some point. I think it's a tremendous opportunity on a number of levels. If you get developers competing to give you the best project they can possibly provide, I think we have an opportunity to see some really nice things there. And I'm not just talking about bringing jobs here. I'm talking about, we have a river in White Plains, and it's the Bronx River. And you know, my Irish great-grandmother or whatever, I think it was the great-grandmother, used to say, you know, if something was never going to happen, it'll happen when the Irish Navy sails up the Bronx River. Because, you know, Ireland had no navy, and nothing, you couldn't say, you know. So I know that people kind of view it as this tiny little thing, but it's nice. I mean, I go running down there, and when you run under the overpass and that you know, the water's rushing by, it's nice, and yet, you know, and you ask anybody in White Plains, they don't even think about the Bronx River when they're downtown, because the train basically walls us off from it. So anything that happened down there, one thing I'd like to see is an opening of that, a more of a, you know, expansion of that park into the downtown, so that people in our city are more connected to it. Because that trail, you know, now rail trails are very popular, but that Bronx River Trail was ahead of its time. And if you live downtown and you hop on your bike, you can ride to the Kensico Dam, you know, you can head down to Scarsdale. And I just feel like, I only highlight that because the other opportunities are obvious, whether it's increased business or a nicer station for commuters or maybe some retail. That's all to me obvious, but the one thing that people don't think about, which I've been thinking about since they first started talking about the station, is whatever happens down there, I'd like to see our residents have more access to that river and that park.
Tom, changing the subject a little bit, but philosophically speaking, you were running for state assembly, and that didn't work, and now you have this opportunity in front of you. Do you have any kind of thoughts on the way time kind of put that out for you?
Well, it makes this campaign seem like very easy because there's 2 train stations and it'll be 4 weeks, you know. But you know, I'll tell you one thing that came out of that was exposure to officials from other municipalities, because one of the reasons I ran is my feeling that Albany was not getting it about local governments and how much trouble local governments were in. And my feeling that we are the governments that are closest to the taxpayers. We're the ones that provide the services most people utilize. And we have to make our budgets balanced. We can't fool around like they can Albany. So part of my campaign, I would meet with elected officials in other communities, and it was an eye-opening experience for me, how much we have in common, whether it's, you know, areas that seem very different, like Newcastle or White Plains, but have the same issues. So I got that from it. I also spent a lot of time with other members of the Assembly and developed relationships with them, which I've already been talking to Amy Paulin about the sales tax. So that was over the weekend. I was, you know, talking to her about the sales tax bills, and just having a better understanding of how Albany operates, I think is going to help in my role here in White Plains. So